Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be doing something that I've been probably putting off for a little while.
Oh, go on then.
One of the biggest questions I get asked is about brokers. Okay, now I've been trading for many years, and I appreciate that a lot of you watching this are at the stage where you're getting a bit serious, and you want to understand what to look for when opening a brokerage account. Okay, and over the years I've had thousands of questions on what to look out for, what broker, and although for obvious reasons I don't outrightly recommend a particular broker because the crazy world we live in, right? I don't want to get kind of people on my back through lack of knowledge of how brokerage systems work, and then someone gets stung and then they come and they look for blame of the broker or blame for whoever recommended the broker. What I'm going to do in this video is something that's never been done before, and by the end of this video you are going to be in the best position to make the absolute best informed decision on what to look for when you're looking for a broker. So what I've decided to do in this video is to go undercover and do an investigation on 6 different brokers. Okay, now you won't see any affiliate links underneath this video. I'm not going to be biased to any one of those brokers, but what I will do is put them to the test. I've built a little spreadsheet here where I'm going to be collecting data and analyzing right in front of you from the moment I do my research to the moment I make a phone call to do some to research them from the customer service point of view. I'm going to be asking them questions. I'm going to be downloading the platforms. I'm going to give you a review on the platforms, the ease of use. Most importantly, I'm going to start delving into cash management. So what is the resistance on withdrawals? You know, how do they handle the money when there's an emergency situation? How easy is it to deposit money? And most importantly of all, the spreads, the commissions. What, you know, are they honoring their commissions? What is the communication like with the broker? I'm going to go into all of that stuff, and I'm going to put 6 of these brokers to the test. What I will say about this is, although nothing I say in this video is financial advice, neither is it a recommendation, okay? And you could also argue that nothing I say in this video could be considered accurate over a long period of time. I'm just taking a snapshot. I'm going to do some detailed research over the next week and a half, and then I'm going to give you everything I've found. Okay, I'm going to go through everything I've found and give you an unbiased summary so that you can make an informed decision. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open an account with each of these brokers. So I'm going to open a real live account with 6 brokers. I'm going to chuck a couple of grand into each account, and I'm going to be trading that to test their platform as well. So I'm going to be trading through the most volatile situations. We've got ECB, FOMC, and non-farm payroll. And I'm not necessarily going to be trading for performance, but I'm going to be trading to see how they handle and honor their spreads, because some brokers have been known to change their spread prices, particularly around at the end of the New York session, towards the end of the New York session, from what's on their website. So I'm going to be monitoring that stuff closely. So as I say, by the end of this video, you're going to be in a really good position to make an informed decision and you know, sensibly approach a broker. So let's get stuck in. Okay, so you guys are watching this. You're probably relatively new to trading, as I said, or you're looking to just start getting a bit more serious in your trading, and that's how I'm going to approach the brokerages. Okay, so I'm going to be opening an account as if I'm in your position, right, where I'm relatively new, just looking to fund an account. I'm going to put 2 grand into an account just so I can see it from that point of view, and they can treat me as if I'm a new prospect. So over the last few weeks on Instagram, I've been asking you guys what questions you'd like me to ask the brokers and what brokers you'd like me to investigate. And I've come up with 6 of the top ones. And what we're going to be looking at are these brokers here. So we're going to be going into ETX Capital. We're going to be looking at CMC Markets. We're going to be looking at IG, City Index, Plus 500, and Core Spreads. Okay, and we're going to be taking a look at each of those 6. And I'm going to be scoring them on all those different things that I mentioned earlier. Okay, we're going to be looking at the research side of things. So when they're established, the reviews, the website, the USP, the minimum account balance, if they're into education, okay, how they're educating the traders, leverage. We're going to be looking at what instruments and account types. We're then going to be looking at the engagement, so the customer service, security, account protection, communication promise, online application, how that process goes, overall opening of account, okay, emergency procedures, withdrawals, fees, commissions, rolling fees. And then we're going to be looking at the platform, so installation process, easy to set up, easy to use, functionality, flexibility, availability, and security. Then we're going to be looking at trading, so the instrument panel, the trading panel, transparency of the prices, placing orders and the data refresh, the speed of data. Then we're going to be looking at the cash management, so ease of deposits, ease of withdrawals, volatility trading and how that's managed, honoring spreads. Okay, so we're going to be looking at that. It's a big one for me. And then we're going to look into integrity, so customer service, what did they say, what did they deliver? Security, what did they say, what did they deliver? Communication, what did they say, what did they deliver? Emergency procedures, cash management, spreads, whatever they said they were going to do here when we were looking to engage, and how they score on how they kept their word there. Very, very important. And then we're going to give them an overall score. I'm going to produce some nice cool charts and graphs, and then I'm going to do a summary right here, and you guys can download this to use for yourself after this. This download will be below the video as well. All right, so let's get stuck into the website. So I just want to reiterate that I'm not here to give these guys an easy time. I'm not here to give them a hard time. I'm just here to be transparent. All right, so I'm going to go through, I'm going to transparently, openly see what everyone else can see when they go through this process. This isn't anything that I'm giving false claims or false expectations about. I'm just going to give you open, transparent, publicly available guidance against what I'm looking at when it comes to researching these 6 brokers. There was 7 brokers. I was going to add Capital Index. One of the votes that we got was Capital Index, but I was led to believe, okay, I'm not saying any of this is true, but I was led to believe by someone that they were doing some unorthodox stuff with a well-known educator, which is kind of skews the whole thing, and it's something I wasn't interested in getting into. Now, that may or may not be true, but it didn't make the grade for this particular video. So we're not going to be doing Capital Index. So we're going to start on ETX. All right, so let's delve into ETX. So ETX, who are they? What are they? It's one thing to go to the About Us section on their website, but I want to dig a little bit deeper than that and find out about the company history. So I did a little bit of research on this. Enough for me to make an informed decision here and give them a decent score. In the UK, they're considered, I guess, one of the leading online trading services providers, okay, as a broker. They've won awards, and originally they launched under a different name, you know, pretty much the same team, but a different name back in 1965 called Monocore Limited. One thing to mention is that in 2015, it acquired the customer base of Alpari UK, which was they collapsed. It was a retail forex broker that collapsed in January 15, and these were able to kind of capture the customer base of that. So they had the financial backing to be able to do that when another broker collapsed. It won the Best Forex Educators at the 2017 UK Forex Awards and Best Trading Education at the 2017 Shares Awards. Okay, so a couple of awards under the belt, but let's take a look at what they say. Okay, so let's take a look at what they say about themselves. So About Us, award-winning technology, trusted provider, trade the global markets, expert client support. Okay, so basically doing the other research, we've seen that they've won awards, we've seen that they're a trusted provider, and we've seen that you can trade global markets. So the client support I'll put to the test shortly. What I want to see here is what their USP is. Okay, so I want to kind of look on their homepage and see. Most brokers have a USP. They have some kind of standout, what they focus on most for being the best at, and I want to kind of see what that is for each of these brokers. So you can see on the homepage here of ETX right there, we've been in business for over 50 years, always putting our customers first. Discover your tailor-made trading experience with our award-winning trading tech. So the USP is their trust. You know, they've been around a long time, and they've got some good tech that they've managed to win awards for as well. Now, the next thing I want to do is talk about reviews. Okay, so we know the reputation, but we want to talk about reviews, customer reviews. And before I go into reviews, I want to say something here. A lot of brokers get a bad rap, okay, and it's normally down to the lack of knowledge of the person using the broker. People don't understand trading execution, and they shouldn't be trading. Most people are not ready to be trading when they trade. So if you think about a broker, their whole job is to get people trading. They earn their money on a commission of when you enter and exit trades. That's it. So they want people trading. And you can't blame the traders to want to get people signed up to their brokerage firm to trade through their brokerage, because that's how they earn money. Right? You've got to understand that. That's their business model. It's a business that earns money through people trading. That's it. Now, in the background, the trading world has become rife with get rich quick educators and all that kind of stuff, which means there's a real lack of education going on. And because of the availability nowadays, where you don't have to be in a pit anymore, you can do it online from your living room. That, coupled with the fact that there's no decent education, it means that there's floods of these people coming into brokerages. And the reason brokerages have got a bad name is because they're letting people open accounts, okay? Now, the reason I mention that is because I like to look at who is trying to educate the market, because if that is a problem, if that's like a pandemic that's happening worldwide, I want to look at brokers who are actually trying to educate people before allowing them to open an account, because then that's ethical, right? I'm going to be looking carefully at that. Okay, so looking at Trustpilot, I figured out that very quickly 44% is excellent, so that's great. Okay, that's the biggest score. What I figured out very quickly is it's full of people trying to self-advertise, which just reinforces my point about the rife kind of misinformation in this industry. There's people kind of putting good reviews and then putting their number to contact them to trade and all this kind of stuff. So I've checked through about 6 other review sites, and on average, you know, the majority of people say that it's a decent platform, a decent brokerage. So we're going to give them a decent score based on that. All right, so let's look at what else they've got here. In terms of instruments, they've got different markets. So you can Forex, indices, shares, commodities, cryptocurrencies. You can open a spread betting account or CFD account. They work with, they've got their EXT Trader Pro, EXT Trader Pro app, so you can do it on the mobile, EXT MT4, which is the overlay onto MT4, and they've got a whole section on education, which is pretty good. Webinars, ebooks, platform guides, spread betting guides, CFD trading, learn indices, learn Forex. If we just click on one of these, let's see where it takes us. Okay, so it's some very, very basic trading education, okay? It's talking about a 7-minute lesson, 9-minute lesson, 5-minute lesson, 3-minute lesson. So as basic as you can get on education, but at least there's something there on education. All right, let's take a look at CMC then. So CMC, I'm going to do the same analysis here on the website. CMC Markets was actually founded in 1989, and it was a foreign exchange market maker. So it's originally called Currency Management Corporation, and then the name was later changed to CMC. Their USP on their website is being basically trade on Forex, indices, crypto, so multiple markets, global leader. Okay, that's kind of what they're saying. They're saying trade at home or on the go via spread betting or CFDs. So they're kind of promoting flexibility and mobile app. As you can see here on the right hand side, their USP is they've put a lot of work into what looks like an app. Okay, a decent app that's got all nice graphics and visuals that looks pretty user friendly. You know, saying that they've got no minimum deposit required. I don't know if that's a good thing, but they're stating that. 80,000 clients globally. Again, not necessarily a good thing. It means that it means that no minimum deposits required, and you can do it on an app. So kind of use your common sense there. I wouldn't say that's a USP or a decent selling point. Personally, straightforward sign up. Okay, so when you think of people that want ease, it suits those people, which kind of gets you to the 80,000 clients globally. As you put the story together, if we're looking at Trustpilot here, it looks like they've got 780 reviews on Trustpilot. I'm going to go ahead and take a look on the Trustpilot website to see the downside here. Okay, so CMC Markets have got an excellent 68% excellent. Again, doesn't mean that it means that they've got less scores than other markets maybe, but 68% of the people that have gone on to Trustpilot have said they're excellent. Again, don't take this as gospel, this is just Trustpilot. We know that a lot of people are using this to advertise their own trading education. But what you can see here is that CMC have taken the time to reply, okay? So they've actually gone on here and replied and offered their services here. Good platform overall, was not aware of such high holding fees. I'm going to be discussing that in detail. Very disappointed overall. So holding fees are they're like a hidden tax there, where you're holding trades overnight, and a lot of people don't factor that into their P&L and wonder why they're losing money over time. And it's down to those holding fees, right? You want to make sure that you're on top of those and you've accounted for those. These people weren't aware that there were going to be holding fees. Again, that could be a problem with the actual trader. I suspect it is a lack of information, lack of understanding. But we have to watch out for that. So I'm going to be discussing that in more detail. All right, so their website looks pretty nice. It's a nice looking website. There's no menu up here. So I'm going to try and see what we can trade multiple markets. We know that. We know about the minimum account opening balance. We don't need one. They do spread betting and CFD accounts. How much does it cost to open an account? Okay, there's no cost when opening a live spread betting account. It tells you the number of costs to consider when trading includes spread costs, holding costs for trades held overnight, rollover costs for. So they have put it on there. It is transparent there. One thing that this is very weak on is the education side. Okay, so far the education side's weak. Apply, fund, trade. Once you've funded your account, you're ready to start trading. Is that necessarily a good thing? I don't know. Particularly when they're going for no minimum deposit required, that's something that you would want to do if you was a professional. If you had been trading for a while and you wanted to change broker, you apply for account, you fund the account, you start trading, job done, right? It doesn't really make a difference. If you're new and they're saying you don't need an account, there's no minimum account balance, anyone can join, and this is what you do. You apply, fund and trade. That's going against education, in my opinion, so I'm going to score them a little bit lower on that. All right, so the next website we're going to look at is IG. IG's been trading, it was founded by a guy called Stuart Wheeler in 1974, again, so long old history. Okay, in terms of the history of this company, one thing to mention here is back in 2015, 2000 to 2017, a lot of people lost money in binary options trading, okay? It was something like 59 million. In 2017, investors lost more than 87 grand a day on binary options scams, and IG decided to pull the plug on that particular product, the binary options betting product, and they removed it from their services. And there was lots of accusations towards IG on that and what they were doing before they pulled the plug on that product. Whether they pulled the product because, it was good for their business or they were kind of scared of getting in the crap even further, who knows, right? We'll never know, but they did do that. In terms of awards, I don't see many awards being won by IG. However, they have a lot of sponsor deals, okay? So they sponsor people. So take that information and kind of make of it what you will. In terms of their website, their USP, let's see what their USP is, okay? So trade with the world's #1 spread betting and CFD provider, easy to use platform, expert trade ideas and efficient support with a true industry leader, okay? So they're easy to use platform. They've gone in on their simple to use platform. They've put world's #1 spread betting provider here. They've got a little kind of asterisk here, which if you go down to the bottom of the page, there's based on revenue excluding FX, okay? So that's revenue. They're not saying that people think they're the best. And the USP is basically saying they're quite large and they've got a decent, easy to use platform, right? So we'll check that out in just a bit. In terms of markets, okay, so they've got all the different markets you can trade here. I'll be counting these up and scoring them. Ways to trade. Trading platforms, they've got mobile trading, trading signals, algorithmic trading. So, and then when we talk about education, they've got an education section here as well. So learn to trade, managing your risk. If we click on that, again, some basic education here on managing risk. In terms of Trustpilot, we've got a 45% excellent, with a 26% great. In terms of replies, IG have replied a few times to, I'm particularly looking at the people that are complaining in some way, and they've gone out of their way to put some detailed replies here as well, which is pretty nice. But again, looking at this stuff, it's kind of down to lack of education on the actual trader itself. Okay, let's go to City Index next. And City Index, they've got an award right on their main page there, so I'm guessing that they're playing on that as a bit of a USP as well. They were founded in 1983. They started trading in 1984. They've put that right there as well. In terms of awards, they won the best spread betting provider at the Shares Awards in 2019, and their Advantage web platform was also awarded the best spread betting platform in 2017. In terms of education, they actually launched something called City Index Trading Academy in October 2012. It was an online TV series where they took a bunch of traders through an experiment and gave away $100,000 cash prize. So they made a relatively fair effort at promoting the educational side of their company. Again, massive client base, 115,000. USP, we've been helping clients navigate financial markets for over 35 years. So reputation of time. Join 115,000 traders who trust us to provide a best-in-class CFD trading spread betting service. So not much USP here. So in terms of their website, other education, there's not really much about education here. Just says start your trading journey. They mentioned some of their awards, and only down the bottom can you really see where the markets they trade. I'm going to be scoring those in detail, what platforms you can use, and how to open an account. So I'm going to be doing that in just a minute. Okay, Plus 500 is relatively new. It's by far the newest out of all of the companies I'm reviewing here. I wanted to throw this one into the mix. They were founded in 2008. Okay, so they're 12 years old, and they were very, very focused on app-based trading. You've probably seen their adverts all over the place. 2010, they actually launched a web-based version of the app as well. But in October 2012, they were actually fined £205,000, a little bit over that, by the FCA. And the reason that they were fined by the FCA was failing to report transactions accurately for over a year and a half. So they weren't able to come up with the accurate documentation, accurate records, so they were fined over $200,000. In 2015, they were hit with a massive value loss when the stock plunged almost 60% due to the company's move to freeze UK-based trader accounts. So again, the FCA ordered them to do that as part of a money laundering precaution. And as a result, it took about 2 months, up to 2 months for people to get their money out of the accounts. So quite a young business that's been quite volatile in its operations in that short period of time. What are the USPs here? Okay, so Plus 500, trade with the number one CFD broker. Again, they're claiming to be the number one. So they're claiming to be number one by the total number of relationships with UK CFD traders. Okay, so not revenue, but the relationships. Their slogan is reliable, simple, innovative. So what I get from this particular company is they're very, very trend driven as in terms of grabbing people's attention with the trend. So Bitcoin is mentioned, react to market volatility. They've got an app. They're trying to get it in the hands of people that are jumping on get rich quick, in my opinion. Okay, so that's the vibe that I get from this particular company. Again, this is just my opinions, and I'm not right or wrong. Nothing I say in this is accurate or correct over a long period of time and an average, but this is my snapshot. This is my transparency to you. Okay, so in terms of markets, got various different markets. Start trading button there. They've got some affiliates. In terms of education, they've got a risk management tool here. Okay. So that protects your risk as a trader if you're uninitiated. And if we go back to that section and go to Trader's Guide, I suspect there's going to be some basic education in here. Trading education videos there for traders who are new as well. All right, and then finally on the kind of research and website review here, we're going to go to core spreads. I guess the USP's in the name. They're talking about having set spreads. Okay, they've got a slogan here that says, "Is your broker pickpocketing you?" So I suspect what their USP is honouring spreads. All right, not saying they're going to give you one price and then move the price. They're honouring their spreads. You can tell by the name. They've kind of valued their whole business around it by the looks of it. Each of the 4 major head honchos of this company have got over 20 years each of experience in brokerages. So lots of experience. Core Spreads is a trading name under FINSA Europe. Okay, so FINSA Europe became FCA regulated in 2014, and they've got over 5,000 active clients trading in more than 2,000 markets in 93 different countries. Haven't won too many awards, but they do have over 120 years of experience of their head team. So let's take a look at their website then. So the markets that they trade, all different markets that you can trade here that they're saying. Spread betting, already they're telling people how to spread bet here, which is something we haven't seen on the others. CFD trading, how to see. So they've got education here. Platforms, Core Trader, Core MT4. So they've got their own platform, which I'm going to download. They've got their overlay for MT4 as well. And you can open demo accounts. Their USP is definitely tight fixed spreads. Okay, they're called Core Spreads. They're saying, "Is your broker pickpocketing you?" And they've got this kind of scroll bar across here, and then they're saying tight fixed spreads as their first little icon here as one of their kind of their benefits. As you scroll down their website, they're very, very focused on the spreads, and they're very, very proud by the looks of it of saying that they have tight fixed spreads. In terms of opening an account here, you can see you can try a demo, okay, or create an account, okay, and they've got this blog section here, which I haven't seen on any of the others, which is some recent information. Looks like regular recent information on insights. So live education there, if you like, and it looks like they've got a ton of experienced contributors to their blog as well. Okay, so that's just kind of a website review. Now I'm going to ring each of these brokers and I'm going to take them for a series of questions and really put them to the test before I open an account. So let's get on with that. All right, so what I want to do now is ring up each and every one of these brokers and see how they respond to certain questions that I'm going to ask them, particularly ones that are on your mind. So things like spreads, commissions, things like withdrawals and what that process is. Something I always like to have is direct communication, and perhaps an account manager that you can directly call if there's a problem or an emergency. And I'm just going to kind of rate the whole process from 0 to 10 based on all these different questions. So I'm not going to show you every question and every phone call because that would be a boring video for you, but I'm going to make the calls now. So the reason this is important, this bit, is so we can rate them on the engagement, so that I can add that into the analysis at the end, but also so that we can see what they say as a new client trying to get a prospect, and then when I put them through the test and through the paces, how we can see what they delivered on, what they said they were going to do and what they delivered on. So it's going to be really valuable. So let's make some calls. Hello?
Yes, it is.
What it is, I'm looking to open an account. I can see that I can do that online.
Yeah.
But I just had a couple of questions, that was all.
Yeah, of course. What was your name? Sorry.
My name's Jason Graystone.
Did you say Graystone or Graystone?
Graystone, Graystone.
Okay, how can I help, Jason?
So I can see that I can open an account on your website. I just had a couple of questions really.
Yeah, far away.
The first one is kind of withdrawals. How kind of what resistance you put on withdrawals, how easy it is to get the money back out of the accounts, because I've had problems with that in the past.
May come back to you within 2 days, may come back to you within 3 days, or we just cut obviously the policy in 3 to 5 days.
In terms of like fees and commissions then, what's the deal there?
Yeah, so at the moment, because of the market volatility, the spreads are wider than usual, but that'll be the same with any broker. We're still, what I would say, probably the most competitive in regards to spreads at the current time. We definitely are when obviously there's more normal conditions. You can trade the Dow at 1 pip, same as the Germany 30.
Is there like any emergency procedure, like are the funds protected or? or in segregated accounts or anything? Okay, and just lastly then, just in terms of communication, will I have an account manager, and will I be able to like ring up and speak to someone, say there was an emergency or something, and will I be able to get through to someone relatively quickly if there's a problem?
Of course. Yeah, of course. So there's two ways you can do that. I mean, depending on sort of your investment levels, just to sort of bring you into the picture of our premium account service.
Yeah.
Most new customers usually deposit £1,000 or more onto the account.
Okay, and if I create an account and do that online, and you've got a platform, haven't you, that I can download? How long does it take?
Yep.
What's the process of opening an account? Is there like a long time before that opens, or is there like an authorization process?
That's very simple.
Brilliant. All right. Well, I'll open an account.
All right.
I'll have a look now and look to open the account this week then. Okay, so customer service was pretty decent there. Now I'm going to ring up and ask the same questions to every single broker on the list. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go through very, very quickly the application process. I'm not going to go, show you everything, but I'm going to score it. I'm going to go through the process of opening accounts, seeing what those questions are, seeing what that authorization process is, how I feel about how they're qualifying you as a customer, and then we'll download the platforms and start trading. Let's go. I've got a couple of questions really. One is around the spreads.
They're variable spreads. The spreads are variable spreads. You can see the typical spreads, but you can't see what they are. They're variable.
Don't wanna have to wait tonight.
In terms of withdrawals, how long does a withdrawal take from the account?
For card withdrawals, up to 3 working days. Bank withdrawals up to 5.
If I do sign up, is there someone that I can actually talk to if there's like a problem, or like an account manager?
I'm not sure if you'll be able to get the account manager, but if you have any queries, you can just call the number back as you've done.
Right.
Anyone can help you.
Okay, lovely. Thanks for your help.
No worries.
Cheers. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Very, very poor customer service in my opinion. Didn't even seem interested in opening an account. Very little information. It's very difficult. It's like squeezing blood out of a stone. Let's go over to IG.
Welcome to IG. If you are an existing account holder, please press 1. If you do not currently have an account with us, please press 2. Thanks for waiting. Please hold, and somebody should be with you shortly. Somebody should be with you shortly. Somebody should be with you shortly.
One eternity later.
So we're now witnessing the hold time on their new customers, and then I'm going to be an existing customer. I'm going to see the hold time in
Thanks for
that.
waiting. Please hold, and somebody should be with you shortly.
This is ridiculous. Okay, IG never even answered the phone. We waited for 22 minutes and IG never picked up. So I'm going to score them very, very low on the engagement process, and we'll get on with the next one. They actually don't have the option for you to ring them. They have a little chat bot that sits down in the corner there, and you can connect with them through that, and I guess some kind of customer service representative may answer that bot call, but there's no way I've actually contacted them for a level of engagement. You can't actually speak to a human. So again, a big fat 0 for the engagement on that one.
How can I help?
Oh, hello there. My name's Jason. I'm thinking about opening an account with you, but I just had a few questions.
Yeah, well, the charges in the market, they're fixed as well.
Okay.
Even through all the turmoil, we kept the spreads the same.
Right. So through this recent volatility, you kept the spreads the same.
That's correct. yes, well, a lot of other brokers widen their spreads. But yeah, because of that, we've basically had a lot more account applications as well, just for keeping our spreads the same.
Right. Yeah. All right, I really like that approach. Very, very nice customer service. They said they have fixed spreads all through the volatility. We're just in the middle of the biggest pandemic in the last 100 years. And there's been some crazy stuff going on in the markets. And I guess people might often think that spreads might be a little bit on the high side. But what they're not looking at is the long-term average, okay? And when a company can fix the spreads and not, and keep tight fixed spreads throughout a pandemic, so that was quite good. And no charge on withdrawals. All right, the last thing in the engagement process is I'm going to be going online and actually opening these accounts just to see that whole process. I'm going to be scoring that process. I'm going to be looking at the education. Are they asking me if I've got any prior knowledge? I'm going to be looking at how many people how many of the companies kind of want extra verification, and those that don't, any resistance on that, any extra checks on that. So I'm going to get stuck into that and I'll update you in a minute. All right, just a note here that I am opening all of these accounts as spread betting accounts. And the reason I'm doing that is because most people here in the UK, if they're opening an account with £2,000, typically they're going to want a spread betting account. That just means that they can benefit from the non-taxable profits. Okay, so if you want to learn more about that, you can watch the video I did on tax on trading. But really the difference is a spread betting account is classed as betting, as gambling, and therefore in the UK it's exempt from income tax. Okay, but there are limitations to that, and it's only available here in the UK. If you're in the US, it's not available in the US, but that's the only difference. Okay, we've got our first trading account open. We've downloaded the platform. On to the next one. Okay, so we've opened all the accounts now. Next thing is to fund the account. So I'm going to chuck £2,000 in each of these accounts, and I'm going to use that to trade inside their platforms over the next couple of weeks. So let's get some money in there. Okay, all accounts are open now. All applications have been complete and all accounts are open. I've got all of the platforms ready to trade. I've funded each of the accounts, which was pretty easy, funnily enough. Depositing, we don't suspect there to be any resistance on depositing. With regards to the application process, what I was paying attention to is the questions that they ask in the application process, how it's angled towards discovering your expertise, understanding if you're ready to trade. I'm going to score those on the spreadsheet now, and then I'm going to get stuck into some of these markets. All right, guys, so it's been a bit of a long day today, getting all this set up, ringing all the brokers, opening all the accounts, installing all of the trading platforms. So I've got that set up now. I've got them on my trading PC over there, and I'm going to call it a day today and kick off my trading tomorrow. So I'm going to open my trading session as normal. I'm going to start using their platforms to navigate the markets. Hopefully I can place some trades. I'm not going to just blindly take trades. Having said that, I am willing to kind of be a bit more aggressive in terms of my trading with the £2,000 in each account, just for the purpose of this video, just to really kind of make a point, I guess. So guys, I'll check in with you tomorrow when we can start trading and putting these really to the test. So I'll see you then. All right, just to update you, today is the first day that I'm going to be trading using these platforms. So I've set up all the platforms. I'm going to start my live trading session at 8 AM UK time. I've been doing my pre-market analysis, really kind of clicking around, trying to figure out how to use these platforms as well. And there's pros and cons, which I'm going to be scoring them on. But really, I was looking at the spreads in particular, because there was a trade set up on the Aussie CAD. In fact, I'll show you that. So first of all, these are some of the platforms. We've got the core spreads here. We've got the plus 500 here. Got the City Index here, and we've got the IG platform up here at the moment. The first platform that I place a trade on is the plus 500. You can see my stop loss here. This is the Aussie CAD. I'm looking at the Aussie CAD on all of the pairs, on all of the platforms, and this was a double top trade that I took in my personal account last week. Okay, and now what we're doing is we're seeing a conservative second chance entry in the form of what I call a 2618, where we've got the double top, we retrace, we break and violate the retracement, and then we push back up, and we've just seen that level respected there. So I've shorted here right at market. Stop loss, I'm risking about just over, tiny bit over 1% of the account, and my target is about just under a 2 to 1. You can see that we've got the £2,000 equity here. So we've got the £2,000 account balance. I don't know if you can see that. Same with City Index. So this is the City Index one. We've got a £2,000 account there as well. And we've also got a £2,000 account here. This is the IG, and the same with ETX and CMC as well. So this is core spreads. See that? £2,000. A couple of problems. One was with City Index. It said that I hadn't confirmed my nationality, and when you try to click the button, it's broken. It doesn't work. It just keeps reloading the page. So having a bit of difficulty with that, meaning that I couldn't get into the trade that I was looking at on the others as quickly, right? So I'm still not in that trade yet. And then the other one is with ETX. Okay, so with the others, I deposited £2,000 into each account, and with ETX, I deposited the £2,000. I did the whole OTP security code on my phone, did it exactly the same as the others, except when the platform opened, it says account balance 0. So I've refreshed it a couple of times now. I don't know if it's taking a while, but it's definitely not there, and it's definitely not as quick. And whenever you do that, it kind of makes you, where's the money gone, right? So not ideal, particularly if you want to, have assurance that your money's transparently there and funded on the account, which I know it is. So a bit of a problem there. So we'll see how we go this morning. But I'm just about to get into trades on the Aussie CAD, and I'm going to take the trade on all of them. So I've funded all the accounts. Technically, we've got £12,000 at risk here. I'm going to kind of be putting them to the test as we go, but I am keeping a close eye on those spreads, okay? Those tight spreads, make sure they're honoring the spreads. And then in the higher volatility times during this week, we've got ECB, FOMC, we've got non-farm Friday as well. I'm going to be really putting them to the test. I'm going to just be shooting off the hip here just to test how they react, and I'm going to be ringing them up and trying to close out trades as well. So it should be fun. Let's see how we go. Okay, so we've put our first position on with plus 500. Not too impressed with the actual platform on that one. City Index platform's a lot better. It's a bit slow, okay, a bit slow to load. So we'll see how we get on with that. Okay, I appreciate it's quite difficult for you to kind of follow along here, because it's a bit like those MasterChef programs where they eat, they do the taste test at the end, and you're like, oh, it must be tasty because they're saying and you can't really appreciate what's going on. But basically, I've placed the same trade across all platforms. All right, so I've placed a trade here. So this is the IG, okay? This is the trade working right now. You can see the stop loss and the take profit. Same with plus 500, which I showed you before. Same with core spreads. We've got the trade on here. So you can see our open position is here on the Aussie CAD. So all 6 platforms are now set with the same trade, got in roughly at the same price, but the stop loss is the same, the take profit's the same. I'm just going to see how they behave, and I'll update you. Okay, so a bit of an update on the trades. I know we got in kind of aggressively as the 2618. We've actually had a bit of a kiss of death situation. So a kiss of death is where we put in the third test of the double top, and that's what's happened. We saw a bullish move, push up, and retest the double top. So this is what it looks like. So you can see right here that we've had the double top, we pushed down. As we pulled up, we had a really nice indication that we could see a hold there with this doji candle, and then we pushed right back up and held. So we just closed, this candle just closed on the hour, and hopefully we can see the retracement now. As I said before, I'm not really bothered about the trade. What I'm looking at is how they handle the orders. So if we hit that stop loss, what I'll be looking at is all of these platforms and how quickly they honor the order, how quickly they get me out of the trade, and the prices. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right, guys, just want to update you quickly on this. I've been tracking these platforms all day, and I've been in the trade. Trade's actually going very well. One thing I did notice is something that's annoying is plus 500 keeps logging me out. Literally, I don't know if there's a setting to cancel that, but it's the only platform doing it. Keeps logging me out, which is slightly annoying, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with that happening if I had, you know, a fully funded account. So not too sure about that. The reason I wanted to update is because I'm looking at spreads. Okay, so we're into the New York session. We're coming towards the end of the New York session. It's free in the UK, so take a look at this. So up here you can see all the time zones there. It's just coming up to 3 p.m. in the UK, coming towards the end of the New York main trading session. Okay, so it's coming towards the end of the main New York trading session, and I'm looking at spreads. And I can tell you, I've already noticed some incredible deviations here in the different platforms. So first of all, just so you know, I usually use NinjaTrader, okay? And this particular account, I'm normally used to paying about 2 to 3 pips on a minor pair like Aussie CAD, okay? So Aussie CAD's the trade I'm in, 2 to 3 pips maximum on the Aussie CAD. And if you look at the moment, it's 0.9057, 0.9055. So that is that's a 2 pip spread, okay, between the pin and the ask. I'm now looking at some of the others, okay. So I'm looking at let's just have a look at City Index. And City Index here, City Index, we're seeing about 6 or 7 pips, okay? So if you take a look at this, so we're seeing 95.6 and then 96.162, okay? And that really is common across the rest of them, okay? So I'm seeing 6, 7 pips across the rest. When I look at core spreads, take a look at this, I'm seeing 1 pip. So this is the Aussie CAD. This is the trade that I'm in. Take a look at this. So this is the actual trade. This is the open position that I'm in, okay, Aussie CAD. And you can see that we've got 9055, 9056, 9057, 9056, 9057, okay? And that is changing. That's about 1 to 2 pips. So remember when we was looking at the USP, and talking about integrity, when I follow up later on, they really are, you know, they're keeping their word on spreads. Okay, the platform is probably one of the most basic out of the 6. Not the most difficult to use. I'd say the most difficult to use so far is the ETX Trader Pro. Maybe it's because I just haven't had enough time to play around with it, but the rest were much more user-friendly in terms of you can get settled straight in. And core spreads is probably the one of the most simplest. Boy, oh boy, that they keep their word on spreads, right? That's pretty decent. I can see now 90.57, 90.58. It's literally 1 pip on that pair. So pretty good. So far, so good. In terms of the trade's going well. Oh, look, logged out again. This is plus 500. Logged out again. Have to keep reconnecting. The trade's going okay. We're seeing a pullback down here. My order's down here somewhere. The trade's going okay. So this is the IG platform. We're seeing a pull down. My order's down here. So we've still got a breakthrough. Looking at this 90.55 level really for a breakthrough. 90.50 level for a breakthrough. If we get down through that level, we should be onto a home run. But we might see some support at that level. All right, guys, bit of an update from me. Over the last couple of days, we've obviously been really hammering these platforms, putting them through the tests. I've been witnessing, monitoring how they've been honouring their spreads and looking at the deviations in their platform to their websites. We also had FOMC out, which was interesting to watch, and I've kind of monitored how they were honouring their spreads. And also today we've got out some news on the euro, so it's quite a big day for the euro. And a couple of trades that I was in, obviously the Aussie CAD trade, a couple of the platforms I got stopped out, so there was a difference in the spread there, so I got stopped out, and I wasn't stopped out on a couple of them as well. So I'm still in the trade, so still in that. It's still pushing down at the moment, but whether or not we hit targets is another thing. Anyway, news on the euro. We've got the main refinancing rate in about 20 minutes. We've also got the monetary policy statement, and then we've got ECB press conference later on in about an hour and a bit. So that'll be the one that I'm paying attention to. And then we've got unemployment claims on the dollar as well. So busy old day for fundamentals. I'll be really just paying attention to the spreads today. And if I can trade in that volatility, if there's a bit of volatility, I'll consider shooting some trades from the hip and then giving them a call and saying I've placed a trade by accident and seeing what they say. I'll also try closing out a trade. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be trying to withdraw my money. So we're going to see how that goes. All right, guys, so I'm just waiting for the ECB press conference to come out. And I know I've been kind of going on about FX and in an FX trade, but I was interested in looking at other markets, okay? So what I'm looking at now during the ECB and during the rest of the news that's due out today, I'm going to be looking at some of the other markets, the Germany 30, UK 100. I'm going to be looking at gold. I'm going to be looking at some indices. I'm going to be just looking at some other popular markets and comparing some of the spreads on those markets as well. So I'm not just focused on FX.
Showing off, don't wanna have to wait tonight.
All right, so we're just in the middle of the ECB press conference and I'm about to short the euro dollar. So I'm going to place this trade on all platforms. Okay, I'm selling at 0.876 and my target's at 0.847. My stop loss is really tight above the structure zone on the 60-minute time frame at 0.0893, and I'm going to sell this in anticipation of a bit of volatility in the market, and then I'm going to challenge how they handle closing that order out. So let's do that. Hello there. I'm not sure I need to speak to, but I've just basically placed an order incorrectly. I need to close it out. I tried to do it on the platform, but it isn't letting me.
Don't wanna have to wait tonight.
Alright guys, just an update there on that volatile trade. We closed out the euro dollar. You can see that we pushed down, blasted through targets there on all 6 accounts. That was a 2% win. We also hit targets on the Aussie dollar trade here. We plummeted. That's Aussie CAD trade, sorry. That's the one we've been monitoring since the beginning. Got a 2% on that. So it's been a pretty decent trading week across the whole portfolio, because I did get stopped out on a couple of the Aussie CADs due to the spreads. It was slightly different. So I was only in the Aussie CAD on 3 out of the 6 platforms. So that means I lost some money, but you can see the gains. You can see I've got about 1% there, 1% there. Okay, I've got we're up 2% on this account. So and we're up 2% on the CMC account. So overall, it's been a decent profit week. But now it's really just time to crunch all the data and really score on the entire lot. And finally, I'm going to be withdrawing funds from the account and see how that goes. Okay, see what resistance they're putting on withdrawals. So let's go. All right, so we've done all right actually out of all this, but I did put them to the test. I did ring them up and try and cancel out that high volatility order. So I've got some good information there. Now it's just trying to get the withdrawals, okay? So I'm going to go through the process of seeing what the process is of withdrawing the money. And I don't just mean how long it's going to take, but sometimes they like to hide that withdrawal option on their platforms, on their site, so it's difficult to navigate. So I'm going to be rating them based on that, how easy it is to identify that withdrawal process, and how easy it is to do that withdrawal process, and then how long it takes, and if they put any restrictions in the way, and any charges. So I'll be making a note of the balances. I'm going to be placing the withdrawals, counting down, and we'll see how they score on that. All right, so I just did all of the withdrawals, and they're pretty much of a much. You know, it wasn't too complex, the process. A couple had, you know, it was more difficult to find the withdraw function than others. One thing that I did notice is, remember I said that there was an account that I couldn't actually trade with until I verified my identity. Well, on what I noticed here is one of the platforms actually allowed me to trade, okay, and trade in the platform and make money. And then it was only when I wanted to withdraw that then they said you can't withdraw until you verify your identity. So that's something to bear in mind when you're looking at opening your broker account. Other than that, pretty straightforward. Now I'm just counting down the days until it hits my account. Some said 1 to 2 days, some said 3 to 5 days. I'm going to be expecting the payment next week. And yeah, it's just a case of waiting for that money to hit. And then I will be closing the account. Okay, so I'm going to be monitoring how bombarded I get with emails, how easy it is to close my account without the hassle of being bombarded by the broker. So last run in now, and let's get it done. All right, guys, finally, it's been a few days now, and I know I'm wearing the same thing, and if you're wondering why I'm wearing the same thing, it's because I've got 27 of the same t-shirts in my wardrobe, and I wear the exact same thing every single day. It's one less thing to think about, right? But it has been a few days, and I managed to get all of the withdrawals approved, and all of the funds are back in my account now. I've scored them on how I felt that they handled the withdrawal from someone who's new to opening an account with them, you know, what withdrawals are going to be like as a user experience. And I'm just about to finally complete this spreadsheet here, this analysis that I'm going to give you to download that you can go and use for your own broker analysis. And I'm going to write a summary, okay? And the summary will be in the description of this video. And really, I just want to kind of wrap this up and kind of give you some pointers. So as extensive as this research has been, you know, it really comes down to common sense in terms of what fits right with you. Remember also that this video isn't about a particular broker or, you know, naming or shaming a particular broker. That's not what this video is created for. The video is to give you a method, a process to follow so that you go and do this analysis yourself. Remember I said at the beginning, nothing I say in this video can be considered as 100% accurate, because it's a snapshot of how I've analyzed over these last couple of weeks. It's not, you know, I'm not giving you a fair long-term average, but what I am doing is giving you a process. So follow the process and you'll do all right. So I went from a research point of view, an engagement point of view, a general feel for the customer service. I then went on to the platform point of view. One of the brokers said that that their system or they integrate with NinjaTrader, which I use, and they didn't. So that was a complete lie. Then I went on to trading with them. Then I went on to how they handled my cash, and then I went on to kind of how I felt that they performed and their delivery based on what they said they were going to do, and then, you know, a kind of overall score. But look, it really comes down to this. When you're doing your research, what pulls up the red flags? How do you feel about it? How did you find the broker in the first place? What we see is a lot of FX educators out there promoting brokers. You have to have that as a red flag. You've never seen me promote brokers in my video, and anyone that does, I mean, I've been in this space years now, right? I've spent a lot of time around different events, around different brokers, and I've heard some horror stories, right? I've heard some, you know, I could really dig the dirt on some people if I wanted to, but I'm not, you know, that's not my style. But there's been stories where these educators have gone to the broker just to get money, to do a deal with them, to get all of their income from the broker, from getting people to open an account. So that kind of shows that the educator isn't focused on results for the traders, they're focused on getting income from brokers. And that's why I never have an affiliate for a broker, right? So that's partially the reason I wanted to do this video. But if you're into an educator and they're saying open an account with this broker, you've got to wonder why. You've got to question it. Question it. There's nothing wrong in questioning it. It's your money, your decision. You can speak up. You haven't got to be led down the garden path. And another thing to pay attention to is, how you engage with them. What was that process like? You haven't got to jump in straight away. You can just go through this process that I've set out in this spreadsheet and put them to the test. Okay? See how you feel. Score them on all these different areas. What are they saying about their platform? What does their platform look like? Does that suit you? Are you attracted to that platform? Do you think that you could use that platform? Is it something that's quite simple to use? If it's not simple to use, is the technical support there? Do you have training? Are they focused on education? All those things are going to play a part in adding up little scores where you can give a well-informed decision on going with a broker. Okay, so if you've been following me for any amount of time or you've been on my trainings, you'll know that, there's a few things that are really important to me with brokers. And one, it comes down to having a relationship directly with the broker. So you can ring them up at any time and you've got someone that knows you. You're not just a number in a system. You don't have to go through some big, long security check and you're trying to close your orders. Because I always like to think of trading as if I'm trading a 7-figure account, right? So even if you're starting with $2,000, $4,000, $10,000, whatever it is, think about it as, what if this was $1 million? What if this was $5 million, right? Think about that type of account. Think about a $2 million account and dare to go there and treat your account that way and then ask the same questions. Well, how would I feel about it if it was a 7-figure account? So communication is very, very key. I like to have the comfort in knowing that I can speak to someone on the phone should I need to, and I always have their number locally to my on my phone or on my screen. The next thing I always say is honoring of spreads. Okay, if they're saying they're going to do one thing and then they keep not honoring that, and you see the difference, that is not good. Just pull your money out of that broker. That's always been very important to me. And again, if it's $1 million account, how are those commissions going to affect you? How are they going to affect your account and affect your overall P&L? So tight spreads, absolutely key. It's kind of an obvious one, but it's definitely important to me. And finally, it's all about integrity. And you guys know that I'm all about transparency, and I love to have integrity with a broker. I love to see an ethical way of doing business. So not only have they stood, long lasting and they've got a great experience behind them, but what are they focused on right now? Is it solving the bigger problems? Is it solving the problem of education? Is it educating people that want to open an account in the first place and saying, listen, you need to know this, you need to know that, be careful before you open the account, make sure you know what you're doing, and really just helping solve that whole pandemic of people just not knowing what they're doing and blowing their money very quickly. All right, so finally, I'm going to run you through this analysis sheet and then you can go and make your own informed decision. All right, so this is the form. Look, I've completed the form and you can see that it's got all the different broken down scores on here, from research to engagement, platform usability, trading, cash management, integrity, and it's got the overall score, which you can see each of those overall scores within that overall score as well. And then it's got some cool little pie charts here to show how they scored at a glance on each of where their strong points were, where their weaknesses were. And I'm not going to go through all of this in detail. You can download this below the video and you can go and check through it in your own time, otherwise we'll be here forever. But I've written a little summary down here. It basically says, after carrying out fairly extensive investigation on the 6 brokers, I came to the following conclusion. Integrity's always been a high on my values, so I like to work with people who have high integrity on their values. I see everyone I work with as an extension of me and my trading business, including my brokers. They don't work for me, I don't work for them, we're a partnership. I like to have regular communication with a trusted account manager. I like to have assurance and insurance that my money will be safe. And all brokers about much of a much on that because they're all regulated, or should be. Any brokers you consider should be regulated anyway. I like to be able to access my cash within 2 to 3 days maximum if I'm making a withdrawal. I like tight spreads, okay, and I like the broker to honour those spreads, even if it means paying slightly more in other times than those higher volatility times, because I like a consistent average. I like to have a nice simple control panel in their platform, in the trading center, that allows me to place trades quickly and easily, and I like to see rapid refresh and good latency with the data feeds when monitoring the bid and ask prices. And finally, I like to work with a broker who is focused on education personally. So with the above in mind, based on my own values, I've scored all of these brokers in this experiment based on my short snapshot witnessing of these last couple of weeks and my own personal opinions. In this experiment, as you can see, core spread was very close. Core spreads scored low on their platform, okay, on the charting side of things, but overall they scored the highest, followed by ETX on second place, City Index in third place, and then CMC in fourth place, and then IG and plus 500, pretty much of a much. I would score IG over plus 500 personally from what I look for in my broker. And then I've got some few things to note here. First, do this experiment based on your highest values. Use this spreadsheet, delete all the data, go and put your brokers in here and do your own analysis, okay? Check that you've verified your ID and address at the engagement stage to save the delay when you try to withdraw and they flag up that you've still got to verify that. You don't want any delays. Check that the broker can actually link your preferred charting platform if that's important to you. If not, then you just use your charting platform and then place the trades on the broker's platform. Ask if there is a timeout logout on the web-based version, because that can be very frustrating, particularly if you're in short-term or day trades, high volatility trades, and you want to close something out very quickly. Plus 500's platform kept logging me out there. And finally, check the lead to your broker. Who recommended the broker? How did you find yourself going down looking at that broker? Check the agenda, do some digging, do some research. If it was an educator, find out why they're recommending that particular broker. So that's it, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed this and got value from this video. This has taken a lot of time and effort for me. I've always wanted to do this type of video, and I know it's very important, but it's very time extensive, so I'd really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up and share it around, right? Share it with as many people as you can who are into trading. And even if they're not, just post it on your social and say, listen, if you ever think about getting into trading, check this video out and let's get that away. Let's change that whole statistic of 90% of traders lose 90% of their account in the first 90 days of opening it. Let's change that statistic. All right, guys, and until next time, have a great rest of your day and week. Take care, and I'll see you then.